Hey, Happy New Year! Yes, 2019. Well, first, let's take, I don't know, smaller potato, smaller hot potato, the question that many people will have, which is, of course, will old Donny Loofah-faced Tiny Hands, will he be president, at the end of this year? Like anyone else, I don't know. Who knows? Personally, I think it's of course, it hinges on Mitch McConnell. If you want to find the worst politician of our times, the man very much responsible for all the total breakdown of any sort of coherence, any sort of system, any sort of way of governing, and any sort of honor, and pretty much the society of the United States. The man mostly responsible for the destruction of the any sort of coherency in the United States, and through that in the world, that would be Mitch McConnell. And it's about whoever controls Mitch McConnell. I don't know, and I don't care. I'm in Finland. It's not it's not my. What could I do? I have no idea. Is it the Mercers again? Who is moving Mitch McConnell? I don't know. Who has whatever? I think he at least I think he's. I understand that he's done something in banking, and his bank or whatever, they were laundering drug money at some point, and so on. Whoever controls who has the dirt on him, or who pays him, whatever, who bribes him. It's all about Mitch McConnell. When Mitch McConnell says Trump has to go, then Trump has to go. And then, of course, it's about Ivanka as well. The only person that that Trump seems to care about, apart from himself. Again, if Ivanka somehow gets into trouble, perhaps old Alzheimer Loofah-face will resign. But otherwise, it's about Mitch McConnell. Whenever Mitch McConnell says Trump has to go, Trump's a goner. Which, of course, would be very interesting. That would be then a big fight in the United States, because, of course, Mike Pence is heavily compromised. So if Trump goes, then almost any decent person in the United States would have to rise up and fight, so that the president, probably the next president, then would be actually Nancy Pelosi, of all people. Very strange, but better than the other two, of course. Again, Trump has made a big mess, and the United States, it is controlled by big money, by corporations and rich people, oligarchs, and it's not a democracy. What happens? It's about the big money, and of course Trump has made an awful mess, and it is possible that if this continues, and if Wall Street continues to go to hell, so to speak, they'll have enough of him, and they have McConnell, and McConnell will say Trump has to go, and Trump goes. Again, it is possibly about, again, how the economy, which of course is horse crap all over the Western world, again, that's the big thing about neoliberalism. It has been able to connect somehow countries to private economy, and somehow that it's about private economy is somehow the government, a country's economy. It wouldn't have to be. It doesn't need to be. It's all a construct. So again, this economy that has been made up, totally private economy, what happens to it, I guess, will decide whether Lufaface stays or goes. Nothing to do with him. He's crazy. He's a criminal. Again, in a reasonable world, he would never ever have even made it to the presidency. And then, the world in general. Again, I feel horrible responsibility and very, very, very guilty that everything in my life is absolutely perfect. Apart from one thing, but that is very private. One tragedy. But anyway, I'm totally healthy. I'm in the best shape of my life. No, I was even in better shape when I was 17, but right after that, the second best shape of my life. I'm totally healthy, totally safe. And majority of the world's population is not, and I feel terribly guilty. But nothing I can do, is there? Anyway, last year I was, at the beginning of last year I was able to make make a big prognostication. I'm not sure. Anyway, that there will not be a world war, even a larger war last year, and there wasn't. I cannot make that statement this year. This year, all bets are off. I have no idea what is going to happen. It's of course going to get worse, and it's very interesting. I can't remember 2015, but again, nobody was very happy about 2015. That I can remember. 2016, any reasonable person said that it was the worst year ever. And I can't remember whether there was actually a video with I can't remember where famous people said, "F you, 2016." Then, of course, 2017 was even worse. Everybody said this was the worst year ever. And again, 2018 was even worse. It's like the world warming. At the same time the world warms, everything else gets... every year is worse than the previous one. And I can promise you that 2019, is gonna be again worst year ever. Much worse than 2018. Sorry. Again, if we are going to have a world war, one thing is certain. The Russians are not responsible, for starting it, for it. There is no question about that. After that, again, it's absolutely insane. It's like climate change, that nobody's doing anything in practical terms, quite honestly. And of course, if Jair Bolsonaro actually cuts down the Amazon rainforest, well, that's it. Then the world will end this year. But again, this is extreme, isn't it? But again, everything will continue to go worse. They're John Bolton and other madmen. They work 24/7 to have a war with Iran and destroy Venezuela. No question about it. They're working overtime. So a big war. There are people who are spending every second of their day to have a major war. And then since everybody's so mad and arms manufacturers will make their money and they control the United States, the more you have, and it's awful. I think they're going to have a giant NATO exercise in damned Finland. Again, our government is as criminal as anyone else's. I mean, again, corrupt oligarchy, and Finns are stupider than any other nation. They have no idea. They have no idea that their democracy is not working and that they are controlled by oligarchy. Most of it controlled by big money. Finns are the greatest fools in the world. No question. By far. They actually, everyone in Finland can read and write. Everyone has gone to school at least 9 years. And still they're so stupid. So again, to anyone who says that just having education and then nobody making sure that you actually learn something and that the education is such that it teaches you to think for yourself, bad news. Education is not enough. To have overall education is not enough, or comprehensive education for everyone is not enough. It has to be controlled, the education. It has to be made sure that everybody learns something. So anyway, I cannot believe it. I really cannot believe it. But I understand that they are going to have this giant NATO exercise in Finland. As a militant atheist, all I can say is, good God. So anyway, the amount of hardware that is being gathered on both sides of the Russian border, it only takes one very small wrong step and that's it. Then of course the ecological disaster where we are in, of course, that is just it's getting worse and worse and worse, and we're polluting more and more and more. Nothing is done. Nobody, the ordinary people, they just do not understand how serious the situation is. And as I've said before, it may be, and again, this is not from me. I don't know anything. This comes from those scientists who've done overall research, who've actually looked at all the studies from all the fields, and then they've said, again, it is possible. The worst case scenario is that it is possible that this this summer in so many parts of the world, the heat, the dryness, the actual summer, the condition, how people have usually spent this, the weather is going to be so extreme that it already may be this summer that actually most of the people in the world actually will be for the first time woken, and actually as maybe that they for the first time are actually going to go as Cenk Uygur would say, what is going on here? So there actually may be the first panic this summer. Let's see. Again, it's just a possibility. I don't know. There are no hopeful signs. Again, the arms race is not stopping. Ecological disaster is not rolling backwards. People are continuously, again, I can't remember how many, is it something like I can't remember how many children per day are dying for simply for starvation. everything, all the suffering, all the hurt, all the deaths, rapes, uh, abuses, beatings, they will continue. Um, uh, and as again much smarter people than myself, Noam Chomsky most importantly, have pointed out, the fact that we've survived this far, with nuclear weapons and so on. It's been pure luck, unbelievable luck. It's been this close so many times, and this is this truly is a year when it may all end. Let's see. It would be nice if one could give any sort of advice to anyone on planet Earth. If the poop hits the fan this year, what to think, what to do, how to be or not to be. I'd love to give advice, but everyone's different, so I don't know. I have no idea. As Mr. Spock would say, each according to his abilities. Let's see. Anyway, I'm very happy that I am not a reporter and I don't have to, watch all the small crap. Most of the things that even the best reporters do, it's like they are just reporting symptoms, and the sickness everybody knows, but you can't just report the sickness every day. I mean, that's ridiculous. I wouldn't like to do that. I'm not going to do it. I at least for the next 4 months or so, I'm going to do something completely different. I'm just going to, again, enjoy my very nice life. And I have no idea when I'm going to, when my next rant will be due. But until then, as happy as possible New Year to everyone. And again, I'm trusting this is I'm not really doing this for the world. I'm doing this for the universe. I trust that if anyone ever sees this, they know what I'm all the details about our world and what has happened to us. But anyway, to anyone who ever sees this, take care. Good luck. All the best.